Evening. Hello everyone. Welcome to Planet Earth. If you are new to this channel, please do subscribe. Hit the bell button, leave a like and comment, obviously. Yeah, hope you're doing well. You know, all that kind of good stuff. So let me know, as usual, what you're doing this evening, what you're doing over the rest of the week, maybe, I don't know. If you're in the UK, it's pretty dog shit, you know, it's lovely. Further bullshit and bollocks and yeah, crap, what we've got to live with, but hey ho. But that is life. So let me know how you diddling. Obviously, again, slap the like button. I've already mentioned it. Smash it hard, break it. And obviously, we will go over what I'm holding because a lot of people are asking me. I thought, you know what, let's cover it because the market's a bit boring tonight. It's a bit iffy. We'll go over a few things. That's what's coming, i.e. tomorrow. What's happening with potentially Cardano and a new release from Polkadot, which is quite cool, quite exciting. But everyone's excited. I'm also going to talk about Elrond in terms of retracements, in terms of what is on this title, i.e. #1 investing tactic, how not to invest versus how to invest, and I'll go over a few little entries that I did back in the day. Obviously, I tweeted one out today, which was quite good. Obviously, my old Cardano one. What's in my bag? Hi everyone, welcome from Hull. Oh, Hull. What's worse, living in Hull or being unable to go anywhere? Can't go to the deep, man. Ruined. Life is ruined. Anyways, howdy do-dos. So yeah, good to have you. Nice to see loads of people on already, which is great. So we'll talk. I'll start waffling as usual. So this video, I'm going to go over my portfolio. I'll wait until more people come in so people can see it. We'll go over my thoughts of tomorrow because everyone's panicking a little bit regarding this. So I think this is essentially that word there, the defining moment of why I think Ethereum's took a bit of a slaughterhouse today and yesterday, and ultimately why a lot of things have kind of bubbled off a bit. The boil has kind of dropped a little bit in terms of some altcoins. It's not really a bad thing because we've had a great week. I had one of the best weeks that I've had in a long time this week. Obviously, yesterday and today has not been as great, you know. Hi, everyone. Hi. So yeah, that's one of the. It's annoying. Like we want to take every single win, but sometimes the red days it kind of sucks. I personally think we're going to retrace and we're going to pop even higher. Everything's looking really good. Even when you look at the historic levels of resistance where we are, we're still testing them. We've still pulled back and then tested and gone higher every single time. So all the time we're seeing these little pullbacks and everyone's going, oh no, it's over. But we just go higher the following week. I think this is the catalyst. So people are expecting this to kind of dump us completely. I think the market's totally different. Yeah, things could go a bit off, but I do feel this is going to be another trigger point of why the market is growing so much. I personally feel that it will probably go up because we've had a retracement the last 2 days. It feels like a kind of natural position to be in. When you look at the chart and the analysis of it, we've pulled back quite healthy, and that's kind of a good thing realistically. Bitcoin went on a bit of a run, pull back. It happens, okay? But at the end of the day, life is good. You know, we're in a position where Ethereum went all-time high. We're at a position where Bitcoin has been holding very, very steadily over 30k. Who would have predicted that a long, long time ago? Not many people. That's the thing. So obviously we need to err on the side of caution, which is why I'm going to go over some investment sort of things in terms of how not to ape into coins, how to invest at the lows, and be ultimately happy with your investments. But we will talk about obviously this little coin that we know and love as Cardano. A lot of people like it. A lot of people don't like it. It's one of those things where I did a few videos on it, like what over the last 2 weeks I've done 2 videos. I mentioned that the Charles tweet, I mentioned that a little birdie tells me that something's good going to happen in February. That was a warning call. I put it out there. People are like, oh, this is really, really clickbait. There's no real analysis here. Well, if the founder of a company or the company in charge of essentially Cardano building the chain is telling you something is going to happen, you should really listen. And it took a few days for it to get going. Obviously, what's happened? Bang. We've popped massively. But we've flipped over XRP. I think it is still the same. It is, yep, we're still way beyond it now, essentially. which is kind of cool. You know, it's been a while. And one of my predictions for this year was I find XRP being a lot lower down in that table. I see a lot stronger competition in terms of obviously the lawsuit and stuff, but I do see a lot more coins potentially could be essentially catching up with XRP, and maybe we may see some interesting stuff with XRP in terms of what happens with the lawsuit. It may well pop and explode after that, but you got to think it's still uncertain. We don't know. It's like there's no point guessing. But in terms of this, let's talk about dollar cost averaging. I did videos back in March, April time when everything was going a bit rubbish, telling people to buy solid altcoins, just chill out, relax. If they're low, buy them. And one of my orders was actually this, and this is just one of my orders. This was today. I did this screenshot today in terms of the value. A lot of people ask me, can you make a lot of money in crypto without putting a lot in? Well, yeah, if you are buying at the lows. I understand that people are here later. They understand that, you know, I'm in because, oh, FOMO. I really like this because I've seen it on the news. I've seen it mentioned in social media. I've seen it mentioned all over the place. A friend at work told me. But at the end of the day, can we get big gains? Yes, you can. But you got to time it right. And I've already mentioned one coin that I feel will do very, very well in the course of the next year or two. I will come on to that one in a bit. But the fundamentals of any sort of order is buy a coin with good, solid stuff in terms of in place, team, community side of it, partnerships, what they're trying to achieve, and buy it when no one else is talking about it. I remember videos, and I honestly, I remember these comments, and I can go back to them if I can be asked, but I can't because it's miles away. But people would tell me, why are you bothering? Why are you telling people to buy this? It's dead, it's rubbish. They said it was Zilliqa. What happened with Zilliqa? Pop. Utrust, another one, pop. Voyager, another one, pop. The fundamentals will always get the sunlight eventually when people start to see it, when people start to realize it, when the volume starts trickling up. Look at Dogecoin, for fuck's sake. It's an absolute joke of a coin. People still want it. People still want it, even though it's not an investment, let's be honest. Moving on though, finally, before I get onto my lovely little portfolio, this is important. This is very, very important. This is the side of what we're going to be seeing very, very soon, as in the Polkadot, you know, DeFi ecosystem is kind of turning up. The Ethereum compatible Polkadot native virtual machine is up and running. So when we think cross-chain and interoperability, Polkadot with Ethereum is going to be very, very important. You can see all the stuff it's aiming to achieve, and this is why I'm also backing Zilliqa with the cross-chain and the Ethereum bridge. They're going to be very, very important to the life cycle of what Ethereum can bring us in DeFi. If DeFi is settled, i.e. them fees are a lot more healthier, with help from other chains, it's going to make a big, big difference. So, hi everyone. Does the circulating supply of RSR concern you? No, it doesn't. Not at all. I personally think RSR is going to explode in the next year or so, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are kind of disregarding it because it's very, very similar sort of supplies to XRP. But realistically, a lot of that supply is not going to go live. It's going to be literally vanished, disappeared, you know, held back. And that's going to be quite important, especially as they build it. What else is happening? NFTs. Yep, I think NFTs will do very, very well this year. What else is happening, boys and girls? Also, if you're not yet liked the video, please do. Come on, let's get me some love. You know I need it sometimes. Other questions, though. We'll talk about Elrond in a minute, because a lot of people are talking about that because that's ridiculous. Great move. Great move. But like anything, what goes up does come down. Do not FOMO in on a massive candle wick because you'll probably die. Nigeria have frozen all, yeah. So that's shocking. It concerns me when like African countries. It's a weird one because when you think about it, look at Kenya, right? Kenya built their own virtual currency. I can't remember what it's called. It's got off the top of my head. It was in the RSR video actually. And because of the inflation, they created something else that would allow people to use, you know, currency to actually pay for stuff. Nigeria is not the greatest country in the world for currency, let's be honest. The fact that they are banning, essentially outlawing the world of crypto to their bank account is like very, very concerning. It is bullish for obviously crypto because it's like, oh, hello. But living in Nigeria, that's hard. That's horrible. There needs to be a way and a methodology to get people allowing that, which would probably may well be a thing for RSR actually going into Nigeria and stuff like that. But the fundamentals of like just thinking of restriction and decentralization, it's always bullish, isn't it? When you think about it, it always becomes bullish when that opposition resists, and we're seeing that all the time. We're going to see it probably in the future with stimulus in America, negative interest rates coming in the UK probably in the next 6 months. What we're going to see, well, you know, that could be another like bullish case for the world of Bitcoin. But let's go over a few things. I want to mention this. This is obviously, you've probably noticed, a YouTube channel that features me. It's my company. Old logo, I do apologize. We're getting a new one built up. But I will be going live on Wednesday afternoons on this, which is going to be cool. Operation Crypto, you probably know him, you've probably seen his videos. He will be doing videos on here as well, and obviously myself. So if you want more of me, subscribe to that channel. It will make a big difference to your life eventually. But I'll go through a few more questions and we'll go through the world of this. Nigeria has a high amount of BTC scammers. Yes, they do. I know that. I run a Facebook group. It has over 13,000 people on it, and the vast majority of people who try and scam are from Africa and Nigeria because they can try and get away with it. It's a shit reality. There's going to be scammers everywhere, but the problem is you still can't like ban people from using something because you can't tarnish everyone with the same brush. YouTubers get tarnished with the same brush at the end of the day. You know, it's just one of those things. Just got to be careful with it. Option room, never even heard of it. That's probably why no one's talking about it. It's like everyone from the option room telegrammers came in this live go chill mode. Right, shall we talk about what I hold? So some people don't really know this, right? Don't really know this at all. I'm going to talk about each individual, why I hold it, because why not? Obviously, I'm going to mention Africa again in a minute on one of my holds because it's kind of obvious what's happening today or what came out today. So the first one is obviously Bitcoin. Boom. You don't hold Bitcoin, you don't know what you're missing, right? Simple as that. Fundamentals, scarcity, potential store of value for the long term. It is the key component, of why I grow my Bitcoin through my trading and my positional holds. Simple as that. Moving on. Ethereum. I hold a tiny bag of Ethereum. One. I know. I only hold one, but at the end of the day, I'm going to build it. I'm going to do something with that in the long term. But we'll talk about the ones that are not as obvious, because you may not know I've sold a few, and I may have added a few. So there's people commenting in here saying, I know your full portfolio. You might not. Funny enough. Adds a bit of controversial beings there. The next one is obviously Cardano. And the reason why I want to say and mention Africa again is because there's a potential partnership or agreement in place with an African country. We believe it's Estonia. Potentially 4 million plus people automatically going to go onto the chain very, very quickly. Sounds not that many. It's a starting point. It will probably increase. To get them on the chain, to use the ability to ultimately get involved in the blockchain, to have that currency, as I mentioned before, with the issues there's Nigeria, there's obviously issues in India as well. These countries are opposing cryptocurrency for the simple lines that it's probably going to be, a disruption essentially to their taxation, all kinds of stuff like that, which is always going to be a problem at the end of the day. I think my stream's just gone off. Bear with me. Are we going to work? But yeah, I'll carry on anyways. The next point with obviously the world of decentralization is that opposition from governments. You're always going to get it, and when you see it from the like of African countries, it's never good. And at the end of the day, those are the people. Ethiopia. Sorry, not Estonia. Same thing. It starts with an E. Come on, guys. But yeah, with that, the people that need currency the most is obviously in those countries. At the end of the day, they don't have big wages. They get restrictions on banks. There's high fees. But that's a problem. Cryptocurrency is that escape. They're not giving you that escape. They're not giving you that rope, essentially, to escape the building. That's a problem. But that is monster news in terms of, even if it is only a small amount of people to start off with. Where's it going to go? Probably going to carry on. But yeah, I do apologize for my terrible geography. I didn't do it at school. You could probably tell. The next one is Polkadot. I'm incredibly bullish on Polkadot. It's probably the one that I'm most excited about. I've already mentioned before with obviously the interoperability, how the substrate works, parachains, auctions, obviously how well and how included I feel with the world of poker starter as well. Not so much inclusion of, you know, being involved with them. I've not got involved in any, but the fundamentals that people want it is good. You know, we're seeing this with the ICO boom in 2018 or 2019, 2017, sorry, and obviously fizzled out in 2018, but we're seeing now the same sort of trademarks of what made the market so special in those days. But yeah, that's kind of cool. The next one, if you're not yet followed, feel free to write a list. But as I say, I wouldn't just ape into them because a lot of them are they've moved quite a bit since. The next one is actually, the obvious one is VeChain. A lot of people don't really like VeChain. Personally, I don't hold a big bag of it. It's just a hold that I kind of like because of the partnerships, because of what it aims to achieve. It's got real usage in terms of real life situations, and that's why, you know, simple as that. That is simply it. Fundamentals for me, I hold a small bag. It's risk free. You know, I first learned of it in 2017, made a good amount of money on it, and I do make a bit of money on it in alt seasons in the task because it does tend to go. It tends to pop quite aggressively in little alt season. It gets a lot of interest, but could well be an opportunity because I still think it is a little bit undervalued right now, which is kind of important when you think all these DeFi coins are getting the light at the minute, but you know, the solid fundamental ones with real use case and big partnerships around the world, well, that could be fun. Moving on to the next one, if I can find it, because there it is, it's Zilliqa. Obviously, you know, when we think about enterprise blockchain, shards in layer 1, solution blockchain built in, interoperability with Ethereum, it's important. It's massively important. I know a lot of people are commenting about VeChain doesn't move, but when it does move, you feel it. Well, to be honest with you, it did all-time high recently, not too far away. People are obviously asking, could they 10x, 100x? Maybe. You just don't know. That's the thing. I think at least 2 of my portfolio will, but it depends where you buy it from. Because I've been, for me, if I think about my buy order in Zilliqa, it's possible to do 100x because of where it's been in the past and when I bought. So when you think possibility of 100x, it's always about when you buy. A lot of people get confused by this. Profit is made when you buy, not when you sell, essentially. Yes, obviously, you are realizing it when you sell. But if you've got the greatest possible order, it's going to win. It's like saying to people, well, Cardano, if I bought at roughly 2 cents. You've seen literally, that was one of my screenshots. That was the one later on. I've actually been buying literally when it was around 3 cents, 2 cents. You got to think every single time Cardano moves at 3-4 cents, it's a 1x for me. It keeps compounding up in terms of that early buy order. All depends when you buy. That's it. Like, this is why people get slaughtered, and this is why I'm going to go over it once I've revealed what I hold, because the fundamentals are simple. Research, you can spend a lot of time doing it, but it's having that patience to wait for those good orders and dollar cost averaging in, and then just wait and chill out and relax. Because people do, they ape into these coins like, oh, like Zilliqa was like the freshest thing since sliced bread about 3 months ago. It's like, oh, it's amazing, but it's not moved recently, but it's been consolidating. It's still developing, it's still there, it's still consolidating. It may well do an Elrond move very soon, which will probably blow people's faces off, which would be quite fun. Moving on to my other coin picks. I had Voyager, I sold it. I made a monster move, so I bought at 8 cents. Sold it roughly where it is right now, $2.40, $2.30-ish, give or take. Monster move. That could easily do 100x, not from this point though, but from my actual buy order. So trying to give you that terminology there so you understand what I mean by that. Moving on to the next one, I'm going to start typing them in actually, might make life a bit easier, is obviously RSR. Mentioned it before, I still think this is very much under the radar. Even still, when you think about the size of it, 350 million market cap, who's behind it, what's behind it, their purpose, their method in terms of what they aim to achieve as well, not so much the backers that they've got for that. But when you start considering that the world's going to shit, financially, the world is going poo. Fundamentals of that, the recommendation of using an app that could potentially allow people to buy certain items and goods through cryptocurrency, through this, very, 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 very important. So that might well be a very, very good thing for the long term. Moving on to the next one is a one that has done very well for me. Bought back in at 2 cents. It's currently, obviously, as you can see, 29 cents, doing very, very well still. I still feel that this is a little bit under the radar still. It's not really popped as much as I expected it to. But as we know, life is a bit rubbish at the minute. Payment merchants are not ideal. Yeah, people could probably get a lot of adoption with this, but this could well be doing very, very well with the links to partnerships and all kinds of information, but the volume's pretty low on it, so I still think it'll do all right. But I've been in this for quite a while now, at the end of the day. But for me, could this do 100x if you were buying at like 2 cents? Possibly. What's to stop it from going all the way up to stupid levels when you think of the supply? We've been in some crazy situations where we think, where can these go? We don't know. That's a thing. And a lot of people ask me, where can things go? Well, when I was, there's some funny comments coming through. When I think to 2017, and I think some of the coins that popped, and literally everything was doing 100x, it was ridiculous. It really was. You just didn't know. And the fundamentals always shine. And Utrust was one of those ones that came out in the ICO boom. It popped extremely crazy levels. So we're talking here, it went like, what was the all-time high? It was like $1.30 or something stupid like that. All-time high, $1.41. So we're still way below that. And imagine if you were buying at like 2 cents at these lows, or even that. Look at these all-time lows. You got to think, this is where the opportunities are. And I'm starting to kind of tell you that, if things are low and you've done your research, you may well do well. Already, look at the gain percentage on current live prices, ridiculous. But you may well find that one of these tokens very, very soon might give you that. But at the end of the day, you buy low, you sell high. Don't get married to it, just make money off it. This is why people will lose with Dogecoin. They're starting to get emotional towards Dogecoin, aren't they? Everyone is. We see it. It's there for a flip. Let's be honest. If you made money on it, crack on, do it. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get absolutely slaughtered. And the last one, I think I've listed them all. I'll double check. Let me just make sure I have. This isn't doing as great today, but at the end of the day, this is like a long-term kind of thing. But let me just make sure I have got everything. Just to make sure the value's there. Yeah. I've also got GZIL from Stake and Zilliqa. Anyways, this could be the one that could do a very, very nice number. When we're talking about, multiples here, you've got to look at this number. Mainly this number. Forget about this number. Look at this number. 7 million market cap. When we look at Swissborg, when we look at Utrust, when we look at Crypto.com, Swipecard, they're all quite high in numbers versus this. What if this goes up to 70 million market cap? Well, that's already a 10x. 700 million? What's to stop it? What is to stop anything happening like that in this crazy market? When people want to do something, they will buy it. It will go crazy. That's the thing. Very, very low circulating supply, very, very low total supply and maximum supply. Obviously, you can see they've got a maximum supply as well. But it's starting to get a little bit of traction. This is my low cap coin at the end of the day. And could it do 100x? Yes. But we've got to look at the facts here. When did you buy? How did you buy it? What are the cases? Too many people are embracing themselves and marrying into coins that have already pumped very, very hard. I'm looking at Cardano and thinking, well, would you buy this now or would you wait? Well, personally, if you think about it on the thing, if you were thinking this is going to go up to like $10, crack on, right? Go for it. But if you're not confident and you're thinking, well, actually, it might not, you got to look and think realism. A lot of people don't have realism in crypto. You should do. It's like any market, supply and demand. I always look at the likes of Polkadot thinking it could bridge that gap to Ethereum. I think that's the same with Cardano. But I'm not going to be silly enough to think, well, Cardano is going to make me, $1 a 50x from here. It's not. I say the same with Polkadot. It's definitely not going to make me a 50x anytime soon. It may well in the future, we don't know. But when we talk about realism and put my money where my mouth is and wanting to buy it and also sell it for profit, I will look for something lower down. I would look to build a massive core hold in these bigger coin assets, the big caps, because it makes more sense, and then using the lower cap coins to make money and then to fill up the bags essentially on the bigger caps, which are going to be less volatile longer term. But for me, I look at Cardano and I think it deserves to be over $1. It simply does, because of what it's got and its achievement. It's the fact that it's bringing out a lot of stuff as well. I say the same for Polkadot in terms of potentially being $50–60 billion in market cap, because they're going to bring out everything going on for it. But that's a fundamental. That's what they're aiming to achieve, which will bring them more volume, that'll bring them more interest. We're already seeing a lot of coins up in this top 10 now, which we didn't think there would be. A lot of people laughed at me when I did a video predicting the top 10 for next year. And I said that Chainlink could be a flop. It could be. We don't know what's going to happen with oracles. We've had a big boom. Can it back it up? We don't know. It's very, very untested. The same with DeFi. We've had a massive boom in food coins. Great, lovely. But, you know, how many rug pull few do? How many copycat coins few are? We've got to get through all these new obstacles, and that's why it gets interesting. But I'll go to the chart because I want to talk about Elrond, because a lot of people are asking me about it. So a lot of people, I know who you are, love to buy these ones that are at the top echelon of the shelves, right? People love to FOMO into stuff. It's whether it's Chainlink, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum. After it's done a monster move, I'll buy that. Yeah, I'll just go for it. Bollocks. It's gonna go even higher. It's gonna go to $1,000. Woo! Because X, Y, and Z said so. This is the thing. You need to be buying, and I know it sounds really obvious, when shit's boring and no one gives a shit. Right? How I made money on Zilliqa, how I made money on Cardano, as mentioned on that tweet. Polkadot, $4.30, my orders were averaged in at, when basically Polkadot, when it was fucking boring and everyone was like, oh, I want to sell my Polkadot because it's crap, it's not doing anything. I want to put my Polkadot into RSI because it's pumping. I want to buy Polkadot. No, I don't want it anymore. Buy. I want to buy Zilliqa. You know, people selling Polkadot and putting it into Zilliqa when Zilliqa just in a 600% move in a matter of a week. Or, well, not 2-3 weeks, whatever it was. Crazy. If you buy low, the chances are you're going to do all right. If you buy these tops like Elrond, good luck to you. It might not happen because you don't want to be in that mindset where you are wishing and hoping it's high and it carries on going higher. We've seen it in the stock market with GameStop and AMC when things were like, oh, amazing, let's just boom into it. I'll just sell my dog. Doesn't work. It really, really doesn't. So what do? Well, one, you need to wait for the candle to close and see what happens. You've got to wait for a retracement. This is going to come down. I don't care who you are, what you are. If you are FOMO into this, you're probably going to get your ass tickled because everyone talks about just life in general, right? If you are risking it too much, there's always going to be some sort of pullback. It's like anything. Jumping off a building, you probably break your leg, right? People always push boundaries. It's the same in investing. When can I get in? How much can I risk? How much can I make? But you got to look at the facts here. For me, if I look at Elrond, I would be literally waiting and thinking, you know what? If it's a missed opportunity, it's gone. You know, at the end of the day. But you got to think reality here. This, even if you do this on the weekly time frame and you look at it, and let's just say that this is the highest going to go, we could retrace. And people go, oh, it's never going to do that. It's never going to retrace. Well, usually they do. People take profits. People panic. And that's where it comes. Weak hands, new FOMO buyers will always sell first after profit has been taken by the people who understand the market. There's always a winner, there's always a loser. You got to think, this has been a mega move. What is the point? What is the point of trying to beat the market and getting involved in this when realistically, and this is the worst thing about it, these drops, by the way, they're not small. Imagine, right? You know, we always talk about leverage. Leverage traders get burnt. Leverage traders understand the game if you know it. But if you're on spot and you're investing, say, $2,000–3,000 in this because you believe in it, Well, the risk reward is you may lose 36% of your entire bag, whereas a trader will have a stop loss, will have all kinds of situations in place and risk management. Most people who invest don't have that. You tend to buy it on an exchange, you take it off, and you put it in your cold storage, right? There's no stop losses involved. You're like, right, go for it, balls to the wall, right? But you gotta be careful. What would I do in this situation? Well, one, I'd wait for tonight, see what happens with the candle closure. Obviously, this is a USD pair, so if Bitcoin goes and run, it'll be manipulated in terms of that way that it'll work with that. But then we've got to look at the BTC chart. For me, the BTC chart, we know what's going to happen when we go onto this chart. Mega, right? We're beyond the previous levels, but it still looks massively overstretched. We've already had on the weekly time frame here a obvious pullback. That is the obvious pullback, and I know I hate going back in time to show people, but when you think people would have FOMO'd in on this and sold and lost, because what happened here, if you imagine this wick here, this exertion wick and rejecting, but it pulled all the way back, well, you got to think that lost 43% of its value literally there. Imagine losing 43% of that value just in a swoop. Boom. Guess what happens a few weeks later? Way beyond your order and way beyond, and basically it's pissed off, hasn't it? Absolutely monster move. So when you think about coins and retracements, again, you got to look at this, look at that. How many people were aping into it up here, and how many people would have been ruined by it retracing? At the end of the day, money is to be made in these markets. Obviously, we'll ignore that absolute mental wick there because that's a bit ridiculous. Not sure what happened with that one. We'll probably disregard that. But yeah, you see this, it retraced so much. Why are people not buying down here? Well, weak hands. 85%, 86% loss in the BTC pair. If you had one Bitcoin in that, at that top level, thinking, haha, this is going to carry on going to the moon, DeFi is amazing, the life and whole market looks brilliant, and then Bitcoin went fuck off, roaring away to the sun, you've just lost 86% of your Bitcoin. Obviously, you've not lost it. I know someone's going to comment it. I can just feel it. Someone's going to say, well, you don't lose until you sell. Well, ultimately, people have weak hands when they see 86% down or whatever, or especially before that. But when we talk about investing, and my number one method is literally buy it as low as you can. Don't be afraid to put orders in neither. Do not be afraid. Honestly, right? Some of my best orders have happened when I've been asleep, which has been great. So when I look back at the likes of Zilliqa as an example here, going back to the USD chart, obviously I got, oh, goodness me, I need to update my charts. When I think back, me buying in like, you know, basically in May time, early May, I was buying and I was waiting for little retracements to happen on this move. I was like, right, I like Zilliqa, I think it's good. And I remember looking at these levels all the way across because it's been boring. We had one pop and I was waiting to see if we hold support on this level. Obviously we did. My best orders were literally in and around where this week was. It was like roughly that sort of time. And then I started buying up and I was waiting for retracements. And then this was the next consolidation space, which was quite nice. So in terms of my average order in Zilliqa, my first order was like below a cent and then into the cents. Then I think the biggest order I ever got was like just under 2 cents, which is good. But when you think, where is it now? Well, it's way beyond 7.5 cents. It's quite good, comfortable. But at the end of the day, you've got to have patience. You've got to wait. I've seen so many people get absolutely wrecked by things. I look at the likes of, you know, this has been crazy as well. Feet is a great example as well. How many people would have had the mindset to wait for this to retrace a little bit? I mean, it doesn't look like much. But to the EMAs, oh my God, that's crazy. That one there is 42%. Doesn't look like it, does it? It really doesn't look like it. It looks like a horrendous mess. But when you start looking at how these wick down, you will find that some of these levels have great supports. It's just one of those things that just, people buy these sort of levels because they're going to have some sort of level region. You can see it fish wicked right into that level. From this top, pulled all the way back. Great little orders. Could pop even higher for obvious reasons. But patience is ridiculous. You've got to have it. Really got to have it. Anyways, leave a like, please. But honestly, what is a risk reward of buying the top? Well, depends. I always like to buy coins without money, in that sense that it's profit. You know, if I'm looking to buy, life is simple in my head when I'm using money I can afford to lose. Voyager is a great example. I put money into Voyager, and we'll go to the BQX chart actually, because I want to explain this. So you've got basic attention token at the browser on the Brave. I had random shite lying around, and I bought this low, like down in September times. It was like basically 900, 1,000 Satoshis, right? And I sold for like 6,000 odd, right? When we think about this as like a gain, like basically 6 times my money in BTC, which is crazy. It is crazy. In BTC terms, that is crazy. Obviously, it went a lot higher. But when you think, if you're growing, if you had 0.1 BTC in there, you've made a lot of money. You compare it over to the world of USD, because the Bitcoin's gone so high as well. It's monster money. It really is. And that was all free money. I literally made like a UK's annual salary of like 800 quid. It's ridiculous at the end of the day. But people were obviously looking to buy this when it was popping. When everyone was like, oh my God, Dogecoin's just been listed on Voyager. Go. System's crashing. Let's buy the coin. It's crazy. It's the time to get wrecked. It really is, because, you know, things blow off. People will take, all the people been buying at these low levels will take profits at the end of the day. And yeah, milked it, great. Can I have a little look at Reef? I've not really looked at Reef. I know that there's a few celebrities. KSI's obviously been buying it. I briefly looked at it the other day, but I've not done enough. You know, I don't have much time these days to research coins. Sorry. But I will say this. I know what ecosystem it's on. My favorite. The problem with this is FOMO. People buying. You've got to get in at the right time, as I always say. If you've done your research, crack on, right? I'm not going to tell you what to buy and what not to buy, obviously. But when you think, you know, the basic standard of any sort of investment, have you got it before everyone else has kind of ran onto it? And you could probably argue, well, it's not really pumped hard yet. But you got to think, well, there's not much data. It's brand new. And that's the problem. Bear with me. There we go. So, oh God, fuck off. Stupid thing. There we go. So it is starting to trend up, but you got to think, how long has it been out? Has it had that initial sell-off yet? A lot of new coins that come out have that massive boom, and then they go, and then they go bang again. You know, a lot of investors take profits because they've got in early. A lot of things happen because of Binance. A little bit of manipulation there. For me, I don't know enough about it. But what I will say is that Polkadot ecosystem coins tend to bang, they tend to drop off a little bit, but then they tend to carry on going. But just be careful with any newish released coin, because there's always going to be people, no matter who you are, what walk of life you're in, will try and get as much out of this as possible. As you can see, we don't really have much information other than we are holding some sort of uptrend. But for me, if you can, you know, as daft as it sounds, if you're looking at levels to buy, try and buy where it's held before. This is one level. This is one level. Well, you never know where they're going to drop. And a lot of people will lose faith with coins because they've dumped, or people have like crashed it or whatever. You know, there's always sort of things. Any coins to buy at the bottom to buy? Depends. Depends what you're looking at. Have a little look on CoinMarketCap, see what developments are coming out of certain coins, certain ecosystems, and see if you can buy them. But also strong consolidation zones. Like Zilliqa, for example, it's been consolidating in an area for a while. If you believe in Zilliqa for the long term, well, that might be an opportunity. The likes of Utrust as well is another one that I know. It's been consolidating at a nice place. It could well go on another leg and is still, in my opinion, undervalued. It all depends, and you've got to try and make as much money as possible by finding things that A, people rate, B, fundamentals are good, and C, it's been consolidating and been holding strong levels. The reason why I made most of my money in a lot of coins was because they've been consolidating in good levels. Can I make an exit strategy video? I kind of done a few of those, but it's very, very subjective. I use Fibonacci. So, for example, put it on here, for example. You see extension levels. As you can see, it's turned around on one extension level. That is one exit strategy you can use, Fibonacci extensions. Also, your brain. I know it sounds daft saying that, but if you've seen that you've been on an epic journey with a coin. Let's just say you bought Cardano at like $1 and you were like, oh God, it's crashed in 2017. You'd have an exit strategy, wouldn't you? It's the same for profits. You do it the other way around. So say you bought at 1 cent and you see it at $1. And if you are not taking profits, I can't help you. Taking profits is the most subjective thing in the world. It really is, because everyone's different. How much you risk, how much appetite have you got for risk as well? Not so much how much money you put in. You may well be buying low cap coins because you love the feeling of big money and that gambling kind of mentality. But if you're sticking with higher cap coins, you can use these extensions very, very easily to kind of take money out. You see it all the time with the likes of Bitcoin. If I go to the weekly time frame here on Bitcoin, obviously it's been monumental. A lot of people were not selling this, which is fine. But for me, I was looking to take money out of 40k because I was thinking it was ridiculous. Like, not so much taking money out, but moving it somewhere so then I can maybe have opportunity to do other things with it, because it was crazy in terms of the move. But when you start looking at, simple ecosystem structure of any chart, and you're looking at any kind of like retracement, whatever, obviously you got this low to this high here. It pulled back to that level here and obviously took off again. But I've highlighted up here potential levels where I could be like, maybe take some money off the table, which is basically $23, and 29. But if I add other extension levels that go even higher, it just depends what your flavor is, really. Now, everyone's a bit different at the end of the day. There's other extensions you can use, which will obviously give you a much bigger thing. Penny for my thoughts on Icon. You know something? I've not looked at Icon for ages. I actually held Icon in the 2017 run. Did all right with it, made a bit of money, not much. But I've not looked at this for ages. Oh, wow. It's really, really low. Whoa, what? Hold on a minute. Go back in time. That went to $12. You know something, that's crazy. I don't know what developments are out. I know a lot of people still talk about it. But this might be one that bit of eyeballs, bit of good development, pop. That's the thing. In this altcoin market, any alt season, any run, we may find that everything goes. Look at Verge coin, for God's sake, it went last time. Back in the day I used to like this, but I've not looked at it for so long. Obviously, I've picked other things recently that have done well. But coins like this are kind of dangerous at the same time because they can make so much money very, very quickly because of the lowness of them in terms of where they are in terms of analysis. When you think about it, it's 460, million market cap. That's like nothing compared to what it was. This used to be in the top 10 back in the day. That was like absolutely crazy. But what I will say, what stops it from doing this? Well, it's just exposure, isn't it? How much exposure can they get? We all know what happened with Dogecoin. It's just like a big, massive snowball. Like any coin. It just needs that interest. Look at why Elrond is doing exactly what it's doing today. Why Zilliqa did it a few months back. Why Cardano is currently breathing a massive pop nature. When people are like, Cardano's boring, it doesn't really do anything. What's it even there for? Now everyone's like, I want that. It's just one of those things. Ethereum started last year, it was like $100. You just don't know what's going to happen. Realistically, you don't. It's absolutely crazy. By the way, thanks for the super chats, legends. I'll go back and see if I've missed anything yet. Someone's mentioned sharing. Sharing's a good one. The world is obviously turd at the minute, so it's probably not pumped for that reason. Fairly new here. Can you check out Idle Finance? I've never even heard of it. Should we have a little look? Let's all investigate this one together. I'm guessing it's this one because there's nothing else called. Wow. Is there a reason why you're asking me to look at it? It's because it's pumped. That's the only thing. Never really heard of it. Never really. Yeah. For me, these are not the sort of things that I tend to buy into because I'm going to have a guess of what it looks like. Is it going to be a messy website? Yes, it is. So it looks like a nice little yield farming sort of thing. Hey, my wallet, that's empty. Whee. So yeah, for me, don't really know much about it. Might be all right. But at the same time, DeFi is DeFi at the end of the day. When you think about it, though, in terms of yield and stuff like that, you've got to be very, very careful where you put your money. And I say that honestly because we've seen things rug pull what we didn't think would. That's the ultimate thing. These are very, very interesting. Obviously, it's secured by QuantScan, but that's pretty decent in a way. But DeFi is still new. It still is relatively. We've only just. We got to remember, in June last year, we went over $1 billion locked up. Now we're at 35 billion. It's still very, very untested. It's not really had the test of time. You got to think, how many years did it take for Bitcoin to get off the floor? How many years did it take for Ethereum to get off the floor? DeFi is very much in that very early phase. We could be talking about DeFi in the next 5 years being an absolute behemoth. But right now, we're a fish fart. Let's be honest, we're tiny still. But this is why we're going to have errors in judgment with investing, with developers breaking things as well. We've seen things go a bit wrong. But what I will say with DeFi, I like it a lot. But at the same time, I would only trust the big entities, the likes of Aave, Compound at the moment. The ones that have been here a bit longer have got a bit more backing, have stood a bit more test of time. Whereas obviously this is brand new. You know, you've got to always manage that risk. A newer project, you probably want to put a little bit less in just in case things go a little bit wrong. Just in case they go wrong. Because you just don't know really. At the end of the day, anything can happen in this space. And we've seen it. We've seen a lot of things go wrong. But if you're thinking investments, one, you're already buggered because you've got a huge Uniswap, unlucky. But you just don't know. Keep an eye on it. At the end of the day, if you want to buy with a very, very limited amount of money, crack on. But I say that for everyone. You've got to remember, things will always show the light, essentially, of good development over time, through time. You know, nothing goes to the moon overnight. And if you are partial of something that's relatively new and you're interested in it and you've watched its progress, that's brilliant. I've seen that with a number of coins that I own myself. But would I trust myself to put a decent bag into this before I'm really, really 100% confident in it? Probably not, no. But at the end of the day, if you've got profit and you want to take a risk, go for it. Because this is a type of coin that could do 100x very, very easily. That's the thing. It's that risk at the end of the day. And I talk about Pluton token because I like the nature of it. I use a card. I think, well, actually, if they get off the ground, if they go to these countries and they get all these onboarded members and they get licenses to operate in places and get banking licenses, it'll do very well. The same with this. How many people can they get involved in their protocol? That's the thing. You know, it's all about money. Can they be attractive? Can they be a good service for the DeFi space? It's all unanswered questions, which is the bottom line. And, you know, that's all the thing. I'm waffling now. I'll shut up now. Anyways, what other questions have we got? We've got loads. Cotty is, you know something? Let's talk about Cotty. I remember this coin back in the day. Back in the day. And this is like, I don't know what's going to happen with this. I really don't. There's a lot of people talking about it. And it's one of those things where, will it go or will it not? Digital finance, isn't it? It's like crazy. But I just don't know. I really don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? The thing is, in this space, there's so many coins out there. We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't. There's that much competition now. This is getting a lot of eyeballs now. But it's been out for it. This one was one of the ones that came out in one of the worst possible times, when essentially the bear market. And you can see when it released, you know, it literally died. You can probably say it died in fairness. It went down to 2 million market cap. What is it now? 50 million. That's decent. Imagine if you were accumulating down here. Crazy gains. But they still got to deliver. They still got to do what they want to do. And there's a lot of rumors going around with what they've got with partnerships. So you never know. But for me, don't know. Don't know. All is good when you know what's happening. Yeah, let's talk about Aave. Go on then. I'm also bullish on Compound. I like Compound for the reason of Ledger Live. I mentioned it on my last video. If you go into Ledger Live, they've got the Compound protocol for stable currency, so you can earn like 15%, 12%, and 9% on the 3, which is kind of cool. But we've got to mention this because this has been monumental. When we talk about 100x gains, this is well and truly delivered. You know, when you think about the DeFi world, crazy. And a lot of things will do that. One of those things. You can probably see it with coins I just covered. 5 billion. I remember covering this. Oh, God, when was it? When it was Lend, and it had like 40 million market cap. And I'm looking at it now thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, why didn't I buy it? Same with Theta. Theta, some people like to say, Theta network. I covered it back in January 2019, and I didn't buy it because I'm a clown. Some things just escape you, and there's always going to be them opportunities that you'll rule to miss. But for me, it's like one of the obviously they're one of the leaders in the DeFi world, and again, how high? Let me know in the live chat, right? How big do you think DeFi will? Let's just talk about locked up, right? We'll go, obviously, you know, when we think DeFi pulls here, how much do you reckon will get locked up? Because yeah, it's come down by 2 billion in the last video, for obvious reasons, because people are probably panicking a little bit. But we've got to think, if the world of, no, I didn't buy a video because I'm a clown as well. When you think about the world of Ethereum and the fees, do you reckon this will carry on going? I think it will. But I also think that it would be much quicker if the Ethereum fees were better, because we all know majority of it, which is the shit part of all this, we know it, is through Uniswap and through the yield farming. The fees are very, very expensive, which is in some ways a shame. I do think that this is going to go ridiculously high. When will it get to 100 billion? That's the question that we need to know. And I do think it will. And I think the likes of Aave, Compound, etc., Maker, they're all going to lead the way. But then you've got other coins that could also have open DeFi finance, like Polkadot, for example, Cardano. They will go into this industry. They will go into it and they'll offer their own services. It's going to get massive. You're going to see DeFi pools not just doing Ethereum coins. They're just going to, you can see it already, they're going to be doing, obviously it's Ethereum led at the moment, this will be listing everything very, very soon. It'll be absolutely monumental. Be ridiculous. Can you give us an example of Alt BTC versus Alt USD in the current market? Does this only work if Alt stay flat and BTC pumps? I will, bear with me. So Chainlink. Chainlink's a good example of this. So if I go to Chainlink BTC, you can see it's relatively undervalued, and over the last few days or last week, it's had a few little pumps. If I go to the compare version, Link USDT, hello, you're going to see a correlation with this, that ever since, obviously Bitcoin's risen hard, but when you think since, you know, when you think December and going into this level, it's popped even higher because this has had a monumental move. I'll zoom in a bit better. There you go, you can see it. Whenever these react, and this is, by the way, that's 100% pump, by the way, so it's not a small one. This has dropped massively. When you think this was the previous alt season, and Chainlink was like the best thing since sliced bread, going to $20, what are we now? 24? So if you think Bitcoin level, and not moving beyond 38k, whatever it is, we go, I think to ourselves, well, if the Satoshis go up to these levels and do 167%, that would indicate that maybe Chainlink will be worth $50, give or take. That's how the metric works. Everyone's confused by the power of this because essentially the BTC price will always govern what the USD prices are of everything because these are Satoshis. Basically, when you start, if I remove this, you'll see it. So let's just say right now at current prices, every single link is basically worth 63,000 Satoshis. Higher the Satoshis, the more it's worth at the end of the day because it's worth more in that BTC value. It depends what Bitcoin does though. If Bitcoin takes a dump one day, you're going to feel it, but actually this might hold steady. We're starting to trend up now. This is a bullet, funny enough, this is quite a bullish candle when you think about it on the weekly time frame because it's pulled right the way up. We may well carry on going. And like I say, if we do carry on going even higher, which would be nice, let's be honest, you know, we may well see Chainlink going to like $80 to $100 if Bitcoin starts going towards, say, 50k, 60k, whatever, if it starts matching up where these previous levels have been. Been a monumental rise. And this has been one of the leaders of 2019, 2020 in terms of the DeFi space as well. But we've got to think that looks undervalued. If you've got Bitcoin and that goes with that level and Bitcoin stays stable, it's undervalued. In my opinion, it's undervalued. So you may well see more and more Chainlink do well if it continues to grow. We never know, but you know, you got to trust in some ways the trend starting to, you know, turn around a little bit. It's quite cool. So I hope that kind of answers your question. It's kind of cool. Basically, the dominance chart for me, just to finish on that little statement, is like my timing belt. So when to buy, when not to buy. When I start looking at where things are currently, we're still below this big level, just about. This could be resistance, and this could be the melt. That could go really fun. If it does go lower than 60, whatever it was, basically 60 and below, be really, really nice. Questions. Hello. Sorry if I missed super chats. There's that many chats, I can't keep up with them. Option room, I'll have a look at it. I've never even heard of it before. That's the thing. As I say, I probably need to hire a researcher or someone because this is pretty crazy. And I've got quite a small. I've never. Well, is it option room? Is it? Oh God, bear with me. There it is. Room. Boom. Never heard of it, which is a thing. It's obviously brand new, but so you're probably asking me for some information I'm probably not going to be able to give you here. Again, it's probably another startup. I don't know what it's on. Obviously Polkadot, which is kind of cool. I don't know much about it. First I've heard of it, so I don't really want to give you an opinion. For me, predictions are not on DOT though. I love DOT, as we all know. The white paper is here. Oh no, it's an ugly white paper. People love these white papers. I prefer colourful ones. I think they're hard to read. They're very, very boring. They're very, very technical. I prefer a technical one-page white paper for me, anyways. Personal opinion. But again, I don't know anything about it. Obviously, it's brand new. Very, very low volume. I'm gonna guess it's on 1 inch, and yeah, keep an eye on it. Definitely keep an eye on it. Other questions? What have we got? Obviously, by the way, just to let you know. Anything that I do say is obviously not financial advice, but especially if I don't know what the bloody things are. Other questions? We've got loads of questions tonight. It's great to have so many people on. By the way, please do smash the like button. Obviously, subscribe if you're new. More live commentary will be coming. I probably would do more lives, to be fair, in the future. Quite good fun, actually. Good to just relax and chill out. Ooh, someone just mentioned the coin I'm not seeing for a long time. Ooh, wow. Request network. You know something? I'll be honest with you. I've not looked at this for absolutely ages. I used to remember them having. Yeah, I do. I remember their website being really random and green back in the day. And yeah, cool. But I've not looked at it for ages. Like, it's been out since like 2018, give or take. It's been out for ages. Get paid, pay and get paid in cryptocurrency. That's cool. Something that I need for my company, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've not really looked at it for ages. That's wow. This is another coin that came out at the wrong time. I remember it coming out. I remember it. Start of it, 2018. You can see a lot of coins are very, very unfortunate in this market. And if you've never been in for that long, like, this is what happened to a lot of coins. Like, good projects that had real good solid fundamentals coming out in the ICO boom, like, the profits were ridiculous. We talk about bull market and big runs, right? You think, right, you're an ICO investor or you're an early adopter in this, and you bought it here, right? And where it went to, like, the gains are phenomenal. You're thinking, like, there alone's like a 7x, 8x, maybe even higher from like the start of December. Like I said in one of my videos, everything just went boom, fuck me. It just went crazy, honestly, it did. And I've often spoke about what was in my portfolio back in 2017. It was, a lot of it was CAC. But it all went boom. You know, we're talking mass money. We're talking ridiculous money. It could happen. It could realistically happen. We'll talk about my penis. 1 second. 1 inch. Where is it? I have to get that joke in. I know a lot of people are talking about it on the comments, so I thought I'd cover it. Again, good solution for issues that we're seeing with Ethereum in terms of the decentralized DEX. Pain in the ass, but ultimately this hopefully aims to solve a little issue in terms of aggregation to hopefully help with fees. I've mentioned it in my last live, essentially. It's pretty damn decent in my opinion. I like the look of it. I never used it though, never used it, because I don't tend to use them at the end of the day. But for me, if this can help reduce some of the hassle and the fee problems, it's going to be very, very good. What are my views on Cardano? Big views are, I'm very, very bullish. I hold it. It's part of my portfolio. I will most likely sell it for profit, obviously, because I've been holding since 2-3 cents at the end of the day. Like, I remember buying, you know, Cardano back when everyone was forgetting about it and thinking it was a pile of poo, because, you know, the market was just, you know, ridiculous. Where is it? Let me just go back in time. Let's go to the weekly time frames. So when we think about low levels, this is where we were looking. Like, the March dump was like ridiculous. I was, obviously, you've seen on my screenshot on my Twitter, you know, I was buying in and around March, April time when it was quite low in and around these regions. As it was about to cross over on the weekly time frame, starting to look quite good. But the only reason why I do that is because I knew Cardano in the past. I used to hold quite a lot of it back in the day in 2017, which was quite good at the end of it. But the fundamentals were still there. And I thought, well, you know what? Okay, well, what have I got to lose? If it goes wrong, it goes wrong, right? You know, but I just went, Cardano used to be $1 plus. It's now 1, 2, 3 cents levels. Am I mad for ignoring this? Boom, I bought it. So when I think how much I had in the 2017 bull run, you know, when I think about it, it's like crazy how much you can buy at such a small amount. And again, my one bag that I bought at this level price range is worth 8k in terms of that. And it was a small bag bought at a very, very low price. I bought more. I hold quite a decent chunk and I will be selling for profit. But look at that. It's a monumental run. And we're above, you know, that lovely little extension level there. So it's pretty damn crazy. It's ridiculous. CME Ethereum tomorrow, I believe, will probably pump. I think the market's in a much different place compared to where it was in the Bitcoin. A lot of people are comparing it to Bitcoin in terms of the CME. Oh, CME dump. I don't think that's going to be the case personally. I think the market's much healthier. Stimulus is coming out at the end of the day. Elon Musk is tweeting his ass about Dogecoin every 10 seconds. You know, you got all these kind of celebrities involved who are buying the tops, which we laugh at, but ultimately, we didn't really have that back in 2017. We just had essentially what happened in 2017 was pop in terms of buy the rumor, sell the news. The money flew out of Bitcoin into the altcoins and everything went mental. We could have the exact same thing with Ethereum right now. Ethereum may well drop off a little bit, but all the profits from Ethereum that people have been riding, they may well go into these DeFi projects for collateral. They may well go into other coins and just go berserk, which would be good because it'll create more interest and people will go funny. Do you think that your bag can have a 10x plus? Yes, easily. Not so much in maybe Cardano for people buying right now, but for my bag especially, because I bought quite low. We talk about my overall portfolio right now. In terms of what it was in like March 2020 in the COVID crash and what it is now, chalk and cheese, it is so different. But when we also think, well, can it go further? I personally feel we've not started yet. We're not fully kicked off. I think the scarcity of Bitcoin hasn't truly kicked in yet. There's no supply shock yet. Same with Ethereum for locking up, for staking and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot lower on the exchanges, but people have been going mad for other things right now. You know, you think Aave, you think Compound, you think Elrond, you think Dogecoin, you know, random stuff that's just popping. What if the big boys pop again? What if the bigger cap coins get a lot of scarcity going through them and then it leads to a spillover again for opportunity to make more? That's going to probably happen at some point, which would be crazy. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's hard to see what's going to happen. But that old word, P word, that profits, always tech. Yeah, profits at the end of the day. But, you know, that's just my opinion anyways. I mean, a lot of people don't like the P word. They really don't. I often said a few of my videos I took profit on some stuff, even if it's only 10, 20% out. People are like, what? You're an animal. Why do you do that? You shouldn't be selling. At the end of the day, I want to live in a nicer house. I want to buy nice things. I like Nando's as well, by the way, a lot. I love Nando's. I'm just addicted to it at the minute. I don't know why. Probably see by my belly. Curve. I've not looked at Curve I looked at it the other day actually, but again, it's the same sort of. I tarnish a lot of DeFi stuff with the same brush. Fees are ridiculous. Yes, it's good. You can earn passive income, whatever. But I think we're going to see the true DeFi when Ethereum sorts itself out, or when other chains make similar sort of products, which could be quite good. Dash. I've not. Oh, we have a look at Dash. Let's go back in time to 2016. Let's go back to Dash. Dark coin, as it used to be called. Do you know the history about this? Not the greatest history in the world. Pre-mine. Fork of Litecoin. Pretty sure it's called Dark. Yeah, it was. It was called Dark Coin. Then rebranded to Dash. I remember back in, I remember back in the Superman days. Obviously, the shittest YouTuber known to man was on and on and on about buying a masternode for Dash at all-time highs. May I add, it was like 80 grand. Nearly bought it. I wish he did. I wish he bought it. Literally 80 grand for a masternode to make some passive income. What is the point? Wouldn't have even made ROI because it dumped so hard. I know that a certain bold person who loves his little jet and his very, very expensive products has been shilling this recently. I'd probably take what is with Dash with a huge pinch of salt. Personally, I think there's better products out there. I think, yeah, there's much better products out there in my opinion. Especially payment mechanisms. Yeah, it's fast, it's efficient, it works. But for me, I think the race has already been run with it, essentially. When you think about it, most payment mechanism coins don't tend to go massively aggressively high in value. Like, obviously, Bitcoin's the exception to the rule because it's, well, technically, it's not even a payment mechanism, let's be honest. Obviously, XRP works in a different way. You know, maybe it might bridge the gap, but at the same time, you've got to think how it works. This has had some huge bumps in the past, and it's not really, even now, when you think about it, in relation to what the rest of the market's been doing. If you take away, let's look at the last year. Hasn't really aggressively gone up much. It's pretty much doubled its money. Not the greatest amount of money in the market, let's be honest. So you got to back the right horse at the end of the day. For me, is Dash one of them? Probably not. No. I would definitely look at other things. Why not look at Nano? What's wrong with the likes of Nano, for example? You know, smaller in market cap. It's just as efficient. It's had a similar sort of pump in the past. Not really been pumping much. You know, there's always options for payment solutions, but I look at payments and think, is there a platform? Is there a utility? If so, is it de-inflationary? Does it work in such a way that it's going to grow in value? Well, Dash doesn't really feel my tickle my pickle, essentially, in that one. Hi, everyone. It's been a while since I said hello to everyone, so if you are new, I might go a little bit longer today and have a bit of a right old waffle. But yeah, if you've not yet done so, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do obviously like the video, share it to all your friends who are probably messaging you on WhatsApp and going, what's the latest on Dogecoin? When should I buy it? Because we all know that's going to happen. XLM, as we mentioned, XLM would be, I personally rate XLM as better than obviously Dash. Photon BAT, I use the basic attention browser. I worked it out not too long ago actually, because I still hold them. I've made about $700, $800 from basic attention token alone on the Brave browser. So if you've not yet done so, get the Brave browser, get some ads, get some free stuff. By the way, I will say this, it's expensive for fees because it's on the Ethereum blockchain, but I'm just hodling. It's great. Not sold any for a long time. DOT versus ADA or Cardano. I prefer DOT. Personal opinion. I like the branding more. I like the colours. I like Gavin Wood because he's a local guy for me. Essentially, if you've worked out where my accent is, he lives very, very close to where I live. Well, it was from where I live, which is also a nice little thing. When I look at Gavin Wood versus Charles, I think Gavin's was a bigger role in Ethereum as well in terms of creating that virtual machine. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm backing both of them. I hold both of them, but I do feel I'll probably hold out more for DOT. Personal opinion. Injective Protocol, if you've been aware of my channel, it was one of my top picks for 2021, and it's actually doing all right. So I did the video mid-December. Doing all right. So I don't actually hold this. So obviously at the start of the video, I went through my portfolio. It's one that I didn't buy. It's a one maybe for next alt season. Who knows? Maybe. But I do like this as an option. I do like this is what it is. I think it's pretty damn cool. And it seems to be doing quite well. Obviously with the DeFi space gearing up. This has got some big backers. It's got a big ecosystem as well. And it works in such a good way. So it's definitely a one to keep an eye on. So I do like it. I know a lot of people are asking me for it. Probably from their Telegram. Hi everyone. But yeah, for me, I do like it. I rate it. I've already mentioned Reef. Don't really know much about it. Luna. Someone said Luna. Oh no. I'm going to guess it's Terra you're talking about. Now, little story about Luna. In my Learning Crypto premium group, by the way, if you want to jump in, it's £10 per month. It's really, really good. Everyone loves it. Talked about this in August. in August. So if we go back to August, where it was literally, yeah, like down these levels. I was like, I really, really like this, but the only thing that I didn't like was it was new. It was new, it's still untested, it was quite low, and I bought other things instead. Like, yeah, it happens. I think now, I dropped a bollock there. And again, I mentioned it with Avido. You know, I'm probably going to pump Avido again, I do apologise. I did a video on this recently, low cap coins, and I was like, I really like this. I like live music. I like events music. I like the fact that what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build. And then it pumped massively after my videos. Oh, fuck. And it's pumped even more since. It's like, oh, for God's sake. But I literally covered this at like 300,000 market cap. I was thinking, Avido, great. When the pandemic's over with, when we can all go outside and go and do silly things and get drunk, great. And then, so this is all for online events and ticketing online. A low cap coin that I think will do probably quite well because of the back end of the, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Can you stop mentioning glitch protocol? I've mentioned it now and I'm just going to remove you. Hide user. As you do. Is alpha the next Ave? Oh no, don't start talking about alpha. Goodness, I want to be buying coins tonight. Don't make me do it. You know something? I had a look at alpha not too long ago and I thought, you know something, this is going to be interesting. But we're starting to see as well, what I've said this a few times. I've often said that when we start seeing the DeFi ramp up, we're going to see everything go up with it. We're already seeing the same pattern. When we look at, obviously we know what's happened with Ave. We know what's happened with Compound recently. Alpha's another one. Look at it. Everything's starting to show that pattern. Again, it's all starting to look like this again. We've had the pullback, we're now popping. We may well have another little pullback, we may well pop again. But we've got to look here. Everything's offering an option that's different to everyone else, but people are putting their money in to be, you know, basically diversify essentially. So when you start thinking how they all work in the DeFi side of it, it's going to get very, very interesting to see how things change and how the dynamic of the market does work. So, DeFi is going to be crazy, I think. I think it's going to be crazy. I mentioned it before. When do you reckon we're going to get over 100 billion? Probably 6 months, give it a take. Thoughts on Dent? Is that the dentist coin by any chance? Because it's probably reminded me of it. Is it Dent or... Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay. I don't know anything about Dent. I'm guessing this is the right one. I'm presuming. Cool website. Mobile data. Don't know anything about it, I'm afraid. Sorry. But yeah, if you're thinking undervalued, well, you got to make sure it is undervalued and not deed at the end of it. Because look at that. That's crazy. Let me have a little look. Past data. Wow. We are 99.62% below market all-time highs, but we're still up in all-time lows. You got free money to throw at it, and you like it, fill your boots. Dogecoin. Hi, I mentioned it. It's great to have so many people on tonight, by the way. It's great. STMX. I've not looked at this for a while now. But you know something? There's so many coins out there. It's hard to keep up. Another one that's came out at a wrong time. Oh, gaming. Microstacks. Gamification. Ooh. You know what? I'm going to say a bad point about this before I even know about it. People, at the minute, do not want to spend their crypto, which is probably why I'm thinking, well, some things will suffer. We're seeing it with crypto.com when the market started going bullish. A lot of people weren't spending their crypto, loss of fees, they changed the staking model, things went a bit wrong. When you think about this, I feel that there needs to be more of these sort of things, i.e., you know, when we think about spending crypto, we all want to spend it, we want to get rewarded. So that's why I like Pluton Card, 3% back, pretty cushy. Traveler, for example, get rewards back for booking a holiday with your crypto. But I think there should be more services like this to allow you to spend your crypto and get cash back in places like, you know, you can see on the screen there, good places. But what you got to think as well, life's going to change pretty drastically for people earning crypto as well, because you think DeFi and you think getting paid for certain stuff, it's passive income at the end of the day. If you're using a card and you're making money and you're spending money at the same time, it's like normal life. We're going into the world soon where essentially it's going to get scary for people in the UK if negative interest rates come out. You're going to get penalised for putting your money in the bank, but you're going to get potentially rewarded for spending it, which is kind of cool, which is what you want. But spending crypto is a pain in the ass because you've got two things as well. Depending on your country, someone just mentioned it, just clocked it right there. Taxable. I'm not going to comment on tax other than go to your accountant, but in America, in the UK, most places in Europe, it's a taxable event for spending your crypto, stuff like this. So will they take off as much as we want to? Don't know. Maybe in the next few years, yes, definitely, because I think people will probably be more open to accepting crypto as well. But when you think there's definitely a business model in place here to allow things to happen, to get rewards, dollar cost average, for putting money aside to invest automatically into crypto, which would be good as well. But it's one of those things, it's like no one wants to spend the money because of A, taxation, B, it's going up in price, and 3, no one accepts it, let's be honest. So, but you can spend without getting taxed. No. If you think about it, right, this is the biggest danger, and I don't think people realise this about taxation. In the UK, when you think about it, right, I have a Pluton card, right? The card suppliers of any company that issues a card via Visa have to be FCA regulated, right? Even though it deals with crypto exchange, but money and fiat on the card, every single transaction that you made will go onto a register, a ledger essentially. If you're spending 50, 70, 100 grand or whatever on a crypto card, which you can, the limits are ridiculous, you're going to just get flagged up straight away to HMRC if you're in the UK, or if you're IRS, whatever. They have a recorded duty of care for any card customer, because essentially it's run on the Visa network, not crypto. It's just the exchange beforehand is in crypto. So everything that you spend is taxable. So if you move from, in the UK, if you move from crypto to crypto, it's taxable. If you go from crypto to stable currency and it's profit in there, it's taxable. It's technically. Same with spending money. So if you put Bitcoin on there, convert it to British sterling, for example, or the US dollar or the euro, whatever, and you spend it, well, that profit that you've done that exchange with, guess what? Bugger. You know, it's a taxable event essentially. So you're going to be very, very careful and wise to how the taxation rules. But go to an accountant. Simple as that. Yeah, but that's one thing with, if Storm does use fiat, it's good. Same with Pluton, which is why I like it. I can connect my current account to it and I don't have to spend crypto, but I can get rewarded in crypto for it, which is good. But if you're using crypto to crypto, you know, it's one of those things. So at the end of the day, it depends on how it works. If you're using fiat, it's fine. If you're using crypto, which a lot of people, I like to spend my crypto sometimes, like to reward myself because it's nice. You put all this hard graft in, doing videos, positional holds, doing the research. You've got to enjoy yourself because you'll go mad. You'll go stare crazy. So you've got to be very, very, savvy to that. Blink your eyes. But yeah, I hate taxes. It's one of those things. I have mentioned Utrust. I like it. It's in my holdings as well. I do hold it. I've been holding for a long, long time. It's one of those things. Sold your kidneys, taxed. But that's the thing. In my opinion, if we want adoption and we want it to be a friendly mechanism to make money and to use it, taxation's got to be the thing that we've got to allow to happen. Yes, we may well get a different caveat if we're using it and spending it. If we're getting paid in it, it may be different. But when we think about it in terms of like, we're traders, we're investors. If we go and buy a Tesla stock, for example, we make 20, 50 grand, whatever. We always know there's going to be tax involved there as you're holding a core asset as a stock. In crypto, people haven't quite got onto that yet. It's just the way it is. It's a pain in the ass. Do you have an accountant that specifies with crypto? Yeah, my girlfriend. She's an accountant. But I use Coinly. I use Coinly to kind of get all my information, and I just tax report and give it to her, and she can fill my self-assessment out. Piece of chicken. Easy. Where is your Telcoin, Mobster? I don't have Telcoin. I know who does. My dad does it. My dad has Telcoin. I don't know why he bought it. He bought Telcoin one day. But I'm going to buy this. Okay. You know something? It's ramping up, though. It did die for a while. Oh, God, there's a lot of liquidity issues there. Ew. But volume's low. But it isn't on that many exchanges. I remember that. It's only on Qcoin. And, oh, it's only on Qcoin and Balancer and a few others. Needs more exchanges, man. But I do remember my dad buying it. I thought, you know, something. There may be something on with this, but I've not looked at it for so long. It's one of those things. It needs adoption. It needs eyeballs, and it might do okay. It's a very, very high supply coin though, which is a problem. I've heard of. I talked about this in my last live. It's one that's on my radar. AKT. Again, it's relatively new. It's untrusted. It's untested. It's kind of one of those things. But for me, fundamentals, I'll wait and see what happens. But like I say, with the way I invest and trade, I use a dominance, so I'll pick like a lot of new bags later on, stuff that haven't quite pumped yet. All things will go, and then life will be good. Hello, Operation Crypto. I'm guessing you're probably in bed by now, because you usually go to bed by 9 o'clock. You big fanny. What are my opinions on Electronium? Could you have a look at Electronium for a laugh? If anyone knows about Electronium, it's an absolute brilliant asset for taking your money. Go on. You know when you go on an aeroplane and you press the flush and it goes, that is what Electronium is like. This is how. So this is basically Dogecoin. This is the prequel to Dogecoin, right? When things pop and then they come back down, they die. This is what's happened now. I did videos on Electronium ages ago and people like hated me for it. It's like, mate, all I'm telling you is how this works. A supply like this where it dilutes and it's going to shrink and shrink and shrink that supply, and it will also shrink the price. And if you're holding it, you're going to lose. As I said before, payment coins are not ideal for growth. You know, you've seen it with Dash, you've seen it with a few others, because sometimes they're capped in a certain way that is not like Bitcoin. They're capped as in they've got a supply, but they've got that little caveat which says there's no maximum supply, we might yield a few more, which is kind of a problem. So yeah, I love Electronium. I held it in the ICO, made a ton of money on it, and then they changed the white paper, and then that was it. It scared me at how it went from being one of the top coins in the UK at the time to basically shafting people, I think, personally. But that's my opinion. But this used to be, I sold at 14 cents back in the day. Oh. So yeah, I sold at 14 cents. It went to 23, so I kind of didn't get the perfect ending of that. But for me, if a coin's going to constantly min supply and gradually add and add and add, it's going to affect the price. It always, always does. My thoughts on Uni. Personally, Unicoin, Uniswap, Unicoin. Is it Unicoin? No, Uni. It's only going to go up due to the demand of the platform. If there's bigger platforms that get better, it may well do not as well. But you got to think this is only realistically used for governance. It's not got the biggest amount of use case at the end of the day. It may well change in the future. It's obviously on Binance. It's going to go into all the big exchanges because obviously Uniswap's huge. It's a name that's getting out there in terms of, you know, the popularity of it. But will it do well in the short term with a DeFi run? Definitely. Is it something that you probably buy right now? Probably not, because it's obviously ranked. When you compare the fact that people were getting this for free to get out in the market, people were selling it for free money. Well, if you held onto it, you would have made an absolute bucket ton. Absolute bucket loads. Other questions. Have I had any abuse yet? No, that's always good. Someone downvoted me. Must be an Electronium holder. Feel free to leave a like on the video, by the way, if you like my silly humour. By the way, I don't beat around the bush. I just literally tell you as it is. You've probably noticed that. Probably get me in trouble in the future. Ultra. You know what I like about Ultra? I like the branding. I love purple as a brand. One of those things. Never really looked much into it though. I will be honest with you. Not on many exchanges, so there might be an explosion in value. GZIL. Oh, should we have a little look at GZIL? I'll do some AVE analysis as well. Just clock that as well. Little look. Doing all right. Free monies. This still needs to get adoption, by the way. If you are staking Zilliqa, you will get that. A lot of people. Hi, everyone. Litecoin is pumping 55%. Is it? Are you just making me look at Litecoin? I don't mind looking at Litecoin. You lied, liar. I've just talked about Injective Protocol. It is one of my picks for 2021. It's doing very well. So I mentioned it in December. It's currently done like a 5x since then. It's pretty decent. But at the end of the day, things are gonna, get bigger and better. Sorry if I missed your chat. Bear with me. Let me find you. I am getting a lot of chatter, by the way. You've probably noticed. There's like 800 people in here, so I can't really be on the ball. Photon QNT. Actually, bear with me. Other screen for a minute. Ah, there we go. I can see everything a bit clearer now. QNT, I've not looked at this for a while. I did buy it though back in 20... Oh, when did I buy this? I did buy it at one point because I liked the development. It had a lot of developments going on. But I've not looked at it for such a long time. Could be interesting now. Isn't this a British project? It is. There's a registered office in England. I remember that bit. In Switzerland. I've got a pube in my mouth. That's not good. But for me, when I look at these projects, by the way, just to put it out there, if you're ever wondering about research, the first thing I do for research, it sounds really daft, I read this because it tells you a really interesting blurb about the project. But the one thing that puts me off this is the amount of different versions there already is of this similar sort of like blockchain. At the end of the day, it's got a lot to get through in terms of where things are. And when you think as well, obviously it's had an ICO, you can see that. But how many exchanges is it on? It has to get distribution to do even better than it is now. Obviously the market is obviously bullish right now, but the biggest volume they've got is only on Uniswap. And then they've got not many exchanges out there at the moment. So for a coin that is essentially been out for quite a while, it's not on Binance yet, it's not on KuCoin, it's not on other tier 1 exchanges essentially. That would be a little bit of a concern to me, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, development will always see people come to, to the ball. What's happened recently? A massive spike. So we may well see a lot of more interest for exchanges to get involved with this. Because I think a lot of exchanges now list coins for free because it obviously brings them money from people trading it. So I think the world's changed. Whereas back in like 2017, ICO coins were getting a lot of money. They were like paying like exchanges essentially millions to get listed for extra exposure. I think the dynamics changed a little bit, but you got to think as well, how much can these stand out versus obviously the competition? You got a lot of competition now, and you got to think, well, if they're not on Binance yet, that's not good. If they're not on, I think they're on very, very small exchange, apart from BitHub and obviously Uniswap. So I don't know. Depends when you bought it. If you bought that quite low, you'd probably be up quite a lot. Obviously, it's pumped quite aggressively, as you can kind of see and allude to, but it's all risk reward. It's done very, very well in the short term, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know what releases have been released on it. I don't understand what's happened, and maybe if I press the news button, I might find out. Maybe not, because it's a lot of random news. But you've got to be careful with any sort of coin that's pumped very, very aggressively and you're not in it, and you're trying to get involved in it because someone said so. So it's one of those things. I don't quite understand, I sometimes don't understand why coins pump. I really don't. Like, some things just pop. It's like, whoa, why? Has a YouTuber talked about it? Has BitPoy said something about it? But it's one of those things. I've got loads of questions today, so apologies if I'm missing people because it's ridiculous today. Can you talk about Bitcoin? King. Bitcoin is the king. I will do a bit of AVE analysis though, because obviously people have been asking about that. We'll do USD version. No, we won't. We'll do BTC. Because I know there's more there. There we go. So when we talk about AVE and we talk about retracements and stuff like that, even if you look at the 2-day chart, this has been ridiculous in terms of the monumental rise. Obviously, it's had a massive breakout. It's popped to the upside. When we start considering, like anything, retracements are always good. But when you think DeFi and stuff like that, there's all kinds of levels of structure here that we can keep an eye on. So obviously, what we're seeing here, this is the start of the move. This is pretty mega. This is on a 2-day chart, by the way. And that's pretty savage already. We've already went up and wicked in and around where this 23% level is. If we start thinking, well, where can it go? Well, we've already tapped the EMAs. We may actually continue going up. But a bearish few days. The last 2 days have been pretty bearish. People panicking a little bit, probably because of the CME listing tomorrow. But at the end of the day, AVE is like the one that might be the one that gets people out of the mess, because people are just going to FOMO into it because it's ridiculous. Same with Compound. Looking at Compound, it's like, oh, crazy. But again, it's the same sort of situation where we're starting to see, like, everything that goes up, especially in USD prices, by the way, tends to go down with Bitcoin. We know that. But these are monster moves, but you got to think, it's pulled back all the way from that level, and we may be closing below this region here. We're already seeing a level of support already been found at this 1 fib level. We may well go lower. We may well see, but we've already had a massive tap all the way down, literally yesterday. That's ridiculous. From 553 all the way down to 392. Ridiculous. That is pretty savage. But at the end of the day, we're in price discovery mode. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But we've got to be careful with, you know, aping into things, because you will get wrecked completely. Whatever question we've got, I'll be logging off soon. Before I disappear, though, make sure you do like the video and hit the subby button. By the way, thank you, because I've hit 33,000 subscribers today, which is pretty good. Obviously, want to get even more, which will be nice. Ooh. Ooh. Someone mentioned a project I've looked at for a while. Uma. When moon? Hopefully soon. You know something? I've not looked at this for a long time. I've seen it release. I thought it was pretty damn decent. But again, based on the Ethereum blockchain, then same old problems. But there's a lot of big names involved in this, which is kind of what got my attention back when it first released. Again, DeFi. It's one of those things, it's probably going to explode more than you think. A lot of contracts already locked in, probably get higher. A lot of projects already have also been built. We've got to be careful, though, with how much the DeFi space is going to grow and how quickly it could go. Is it a bubble? We don't know. But we're seeing, as I mentioned before, multiple assets are showing this kind of monster growth since end of February. We may well be getting the same sort of rise that we got in the summer in DeFi. We'll see how it goes. I've already mentioned Reef. I need to look into it more. I've looked into Mainframe. I need to look into that more. There's been a lot of things happening with that too. But yeah, it's great to have people here. It's pretty damn crazy. I've mentioned VeChain. VeChain is one of my holds. Rate it a lot. Thoughts on Holochain? I covered that years ago. Well, about 2 years ago. I don't think it's done much since, to be honest with you. It is hot, isn't it? Is it? I'm guessing it is. Let me make sure. Yeah, it is. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I rated it loads back in the day, but it hasn't really moved at the end of the day. Like, when you look at the price, it's kind of just stagnated. That's not ideal. You know, the supply is huge. There's no maximum supply as well. It's not even a blockchain technically. It's a DAG, isn't it? Or is it a DAG? Not sure. But either way, when you look at the market and you look at what's popping, everything. When coins are not popping, you've got to be a little bit concerned. Exit strategy. I'm new to the bull market. Exit strategy, a good one is when you've made money, get out. That's always a good one. I.e., a good amount of money. I'm not talking about like 10% and flap. I mean, profits are subjective. It doesn't matter how much you hold or what you hold. It's all about the nature of the beast. If you feel that it's starting to turn and you've made a ton of money, that's obviously a place to take profits. Extension levels on fibs, personal targets, maybe if you bought something such a great level. At the end of the day, everyone's different. It's very, very subjective in terms of profits. But for me, my exit and my learning experience back in the day was essentially, I took profits on some stuff, I didn't on some, and then I put profits elsewhere, and it melted essentially because I'm an idiot. But I learned from that, so that'll make things better. Oh, thanks for the tip, Ambrosos. Ooh, You know something? I've not looked at this for ages neither. This was a one that was around back in the day as well. Wow, what's happened here? Again, these could be undervalued though. When you think about it, depending on developments, depending on what comes out, we may well find that bang, this might pop again. But I remember this back in the day. I think I remember holding this at one point. Old food related and medicine and all kinds of random stuff. Internet of Things decentralization, a really random ass website. I don't like the website. It's too much going on here. Feels like I'm in a game. I expected someone to shoot me in a minute. But yeah, like when we look at coins like this that are like 11 million market cap and they've got like a bit of time in as well. They're on Binance as well. But saying that, this was like Voyager. When we look at Voyager and look at what happened with Voyager, people are like, oh, it's dead. But yet people didn't know is they've got took out by some big people building a really good exchange, taking the technology that was built in the past. Try not to burp on you. Sorry. But when we start thinking, coins like this are also a very, very good risk reward. If the fundamentals are there and they've obviously got the partnerships and you've done your research, again, just use a small amount of risk in terms of profit. Just use a bit of profit and buy into them at low levels. Because at the end of the day, when we look at prices and we look at previous levels, I know it sounds daft saying this, but when you think where it's been in the past, you know, crazy levels, like 200 plus market cap, 200 million, obviously 11. What about if that goes up to 100 million market cap? You know, it's 10x. It happens. You never know what could happen in this market. It's pretty scary. It really is. It honestly, people just don't know. I wonder if you realize how rich you could be if you dump 25% of your portfolio into Doge before the Super Bowl ad, which maybe may go the other way as well. We just don't know. The thing is, though, looking at hindsight with crypto, it's like one of those things. Like I could be really rich by investing in Bitcoin when I first heard of it in 2013, 2012 sort of levels. That's when I first heard about it. I passed it up, bought in 2016. I'm in a much better position where I am right now, obviously, because I've been in the market for such a long time. I've made profits. I've learned a lot of lessons. But hindsight's one of those things. At the end of the day, you just don't know. People will get absolutely burned by Dogecoin because it's not an investment asset. It's got infinite supply. You know, people will rinse, repeat, and absolutely ruin people. You got to remember as well, people will short it on Binance as well, which would be pretty cool. Cardano, $1. Most likely, yeah. Most likely. BSCX, I've never heard of it. Never ever. I'm learning every single live of all the coins that people are saying. I'm trying not to shill things, but at the end of the day, I don't know them, so I need to look at the same time. Relatively new. Should we have a little look? Let's do it together. It's always good. Looks like Binance. Meh. Meh. Looks like crap. There's your exposure. Looks poo. Ugh. Yeah, someone is owning a lot of Dogecoin. My thoughts on Chainlink, it's alright. However, I would like it a lot more if the basically if the developers didn't hold such a lot. Sushi Swap. Oof. Sushi Swap could do very well in the future, to be fair. Still, in my opinion, like as I said before in this live, if you've been looking or listening, essentially, a lot of DeFi is untested, a lot of fee problems, and you know the more competition a Uniswap has, the better. God, guys, thank you for the tips, legendaries. Oof. Oh, I've been waiting for someone to say this for a long time. Man, I want to be all night, aren't I? Hey Ash, just look at everything. Okay. You know something? I said this about Polkadot a long time ago. Buying the haystack and not essentially looking for the needle. But a lot of good coins are coming out on the Polkadot ecosystem. You can probably tell why. The substrate, the ability of using the parachains to cross-chain with everything, it's freaking ridiculous how it works. For me, I've not really looked at this, but I'm already getting tingly bum by looking at the partnerships, because obviously you got the Web3 Foundation, obviously Polkadot, Kusama, Parity. We all know what band of brothers they're in. But then you've obviously got the interoperability with obviously, you know, this bad boy, which is just, I mentioned this at the start of this video, essentially, the thing that will join it all together with Ethereum. So, I need to look into this, which is a shame because I want to try and do it a bit more justice and say I want to look into it. But the problem is, with me, I've made my bed with my assets, which I've mentioned in this video, all right? A lot of new coins are coming out on Polkadot. In the next alt season, so in terms of how I invest, when the dominance goes low enough, I will take my money into Bitcoin. When it goes high again, I'll be chucking into altcoins. I've already got a sticky note over in that corner of 3 coins on it. We may well find this might be on it as well. There might be a lot of Polkadot ecosystem coins on there for me to ride the next wave, as in when the Bitcoin drops in dominance again, build the Bitcoin, rinse, repeat, find new assets, flip and repeat. There's a lot of good coins coming out in the market at the minute. And again, there's only 23, say 23. There's 23 hours in the day for me because I only sleep 1 hour. Well, that's what it feels like. Obviously only 24 hours. But for me, when I look at everything, there's so much happening in the Polkadot ecosystem that they are building such a massive portfolio of everything, but it's going to be run so much better because it's going to be ridiculous. Other live chat thing, what else? Tomo Chain. You know something? I passed up Tomo Chain recently. In this alt run, I was going to buy Tomo Chain because I like the fundamentals of it. It's actually done really well. It wouldn't have mattered if I did or I didn't. At the end of the day, what I bought did very, very well. But when I look at this, it's pretty efficient. It's fast. It's got good branding. I really like the branding on this as well. I think it's pretty damn cool. But when you think where the market is going and how these blockchains will work, a lot of them will do very well. But when you see it as well, this is much faster than what the shite we're used to in terms of Ethereum. Let's be honest, Ethereum is pretty rubbish. You know, we know it is. It's not very good. It's obviously a generation 1 blockchain, essentially, in terms of speed. It's pretty rubbish. It's technically they call it generation 2 because it's got smart contracts, but it's still pretty sluggish. But in terms of the ecosystem, the reason why I did like this, but I did pass it up, was they've got a lot of partnerships. They've got a lot of good stuff happening. But for me, it's like competition. I went with what I wanted to buy in terms of competition, but I like how easy this looks in terms of the simplicity of it. And what I've heard as well, the DEX is pretty decent, but I've never really used it. So I don't know much about it other than what I've already researched about 6-7 months ago. But for me, if you're looking at projects, and I say this all the time, if you're looking for like gains in the market and you're thinking ecosystems that can compete with other blockchains that are not that good or they got more popular for odd reasons, people do look for other ones to buy. Like for me, for example, I've said the same with Ethereum. I like Ethereum in terms of its prestige and stuff, but I'm frustrated with it. I think it's bollocks in terms of how it works with Uniswap and stuff. I think it's crap. But when I then go, well, wait a minute, what other coins are out there that are similar ilk to Ethereum? Well, Silica, cool. Polkadot, obviously. You know, Cardano. You've got to remember, they're going to bridge the gap at some point. You need competition, and we're already seeing here, Tomo Chain, getting a nice bit of airline in terms of price action, and it still is listed on some big exchanges, and it's got a decent amount of volume considering. So it's definitely worth, you know, some sort of interest. What other questions have we got before I run and jump? Because there's a lot of questions going on. What are those coins on a sticky note? One of them is API 3, and obviously what I've just mentioned before in terms of other Polkadot ecosystem elements. Obviously people are mentioning AKR is another one, but that's all I'm going to say. But they've not really been massively researched because I'm not in the position to buy. I'm waiting for the dominance to drop and then sit in Bitcoin for a bit, wait for those BTC pairs to drop off. Especially as well with new coins, they tend to have a big massive rush and then they tend to die off and people go, oh, a bit rubbish in it, and then they move again. I don't hold it. Well, I do hold DeFi. I earn a lot on DeFi. I put money away in DeFi. I earn the passive side of it. But in reality, in terms of DeFi, what I realistically, you know, depending on the attitude of what Polkadot does in terms of the DeFi space moving forward, obviously Cardano as well. You got Zilliqa in the DeFi network essentially in terms of their Zil swap and stuff. But it's all for them. It's relatively new versus obviously, you know, Ethereum. I could have easily bought, you know, a lot of things. I could have bought Chainlink when I wanted to. I've covered Chainlink when it was less than $1. Oops. I've missed so many opportunities in the DeFi space, but also I've made a lot of money now in other things. So it's one of those things. They will always be DeFi opportunities to either A, earn money, or B, buy the stack essentially. But when I think about it, what if Polkadot does a lot of DeFi projects and people are doing auctions to get on their parachains or substrates, whatever, and it's going to basically, in my opinion, increase the price of obviously the entire ecosystem, which is less risk for me anyways. But it's all down to risk at the end of the day. But Tezos is not moving at all on this run. You know something, Tezos absolutely died on the back of the last alt season. It literally completely and utterly dumped, didn't it? Which is kind of scary. Anyways, I've been here for 1 hour, 45 minutes. I'm going to be leaving very, very soon. Ample forth, what you think? I think I said that right. This will be my last question, by the way. This one rose ridiculously last time and everyone just got absolutely FOMO'd into it. But boom! I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you. It looks interesting. Again, it's in that old DeFi space, but this got so many people involved very, very quickly and it just completely tanked. But I don't know much about it. I really don't. It's another one that I need to look in. Oh my god, it's got an advanced reading book. I need that for when I can't sleep. I might just get a copy of that. But yeah, I don't really know much about it. Anyways, I appreciate everyone coming out. Obviously, I've just been rambling all night. Make sure if you've not yet done so, slap that subscribe button because it does make a big help. Obviously, as well, leave a like. It's great to have you. I'll be back on Friday. Essentially, Friday midday. Well, 2:30 UK time, so waking up time in America. I will also, as I say, if you've not yet done so, subscribe to the Learning Crypto channel. On Wednesdays coming soon, I'll be live on there to do questions on a much smaller channel. This is obviously my company, educational videos. I do tutorials on here. Operation Crypto as well, if you've heard of him, his channel. He will be doing videos on here too. So yeah,